Hello guys, this is the second part of the tutorial where we create a pinball game from scratch. We will add some elements that you will find in most pinball machines and end up with the basic concept of the pinball game. Let's start right away. The ball should come from the spring over here. So I'm gonna add a cylinder. That will represent the spring. And that will push the ball. So now we are going to put the ball at the starting position over here. And the idea is that if you press the space bar, you will shoot the ball into the pinball machine. So let's also add another something like a plane, and just for a nice visual effect as a background over here. To make it stand out a little bit from the rest of the play field. Okay, something like this. And now let's add some material for that as well. Let's just copy this material and call it material spring. Okay, so let's create a script to shoot the ball, and I'm gonna call that spring, because I'll put it on the spring. So I'm gonna rename this spring as well. And put these inside the pinball. So, and if we go to the script, we don't need this. We only want to respond to the on shoot event when you press the space bar. So if you remember, we created this input actions. We have the shoot over here as well. So we need to attach these input actions also to this. So let's add the player input over here and set the player actions to these. Now if we press the space bar, we will enter this on shoot function, and over here we want to shoot the ball. We can shoot the ball by applying force to it, but first we need to detect if there is a ball over there or not. And actually there could be even more than one ball there. If you play with multiple balls, then you can shoot maybe 3 balls at once, for example. I'm not sure if we do that in this video, but in any case it's more flexible if you create it this way. So we create so what we're going to do here is check if there is an overlap around the sphere that's around this spring. So imagine a sphere over here, like so, and anything within that sphere we will detect, and then we can say for each collider we check if it has a ball script, because then it's a ball. So if ball is not 0, then we will call a method on the ball. We don't have that method yet, but we will call it shoot. We will make it public so we can call it from within that other script. And this will take care of actually shooting the ball. And that's very easy. We will just take the rigid body, which we can obtain in a variable. So we get the rigid body that's attached to the same game object as the script, and on that rigid body we add some force. And we're going to add force in the y axis. Let's set it to 130. And it's going to be velocity change. Velocity change means we don't take into account the mass. We will just have our object and make it go faster. There is already a rigid body somewhere in this inherited class, so we will use the new keyword. Actually that should be over here. So we will call a shoot method of all the balls that are within the range. So let's test it with 2 balls. If I just copy this ball and I run the game. Now if I press the space bar, you see that both balls are shot. So now let's add some bumpers. Found this model of a UFO on TurboSquid. It's free and I think it's perfect to be used as a bumper. So I'm gonna download that and add it to the project. Okay, let's create a new folder for that. Call it UFO and insert all the objects in the package that I just downloaded. So now we have UFO over here, and if we rotate it, we can use this as a bumper. It should be a little bit bigger, I think. Okay, let's first create one and later we will add some more. So what will happen if you hit this bumper? The ball needs to bounce off. So we need to write a script for that. First of all, this UFO needs a collider too. So let's add a capsule collider. A capsule collider is faster than a mesh collider and is very suitable for the shape of the UFO. Actually, it's better to add the collider to the body instead. Now it will have the proper size already. So now we can create a script. I'm gonna call it bumper. And I'm gonna attach it to the UFO, actually to the body, because the collider is also attached to it. So, and if we open this bumper script, we need to write some code to deal with the collision. And we're going to use the onCollision enter. So what we can do when the ball hits the bumper, we can look at the angle of impact and then make it bounce like this. So the angle of impact equals the angle of extrusion. So so we can calculate all of that, but actually there's a really simple method to make the bumper work now. We can use Unity functionality for that. We need to get the rigid component of the ball. The rigid body of the ball, and we can add an explosion force to that. About this strong, and at the position of the transform with a radius of 8. Before we continue, I should mention that I changed the scale of the pinball machine a bit. It's now this big, almost twice as big as it was before, because I noticed that when the ball is moving very fast, it's going through the walls. And also it's very important to have the collision detection of the ball to continuous dynamic, so that makes it detect collision much more accurate. It comes at a cost of performance, but as long as it's on a few objects, it's no issue. So now let's copy the bumper a few times, so we are sure we are going to hit it when we test it. Okay, this should be sufficient. Now let's run the application. Not very lucky there. Yeah, you can see that once I hit the bumpers, they start to the ball starts to bounce off. One thing that I want to fix right now is that as soon as the ball is lost, we want to put it back to its original position. So I'm gonna copy this position, and I'm gonna go to the ball script, and in the update function I'm gonna check if the position is of the y-axis is smaller than something, we will put the ball back to its original position. So there's the value that I copied. Gonna have to put an F behind it to indicate its floating point numbers, and also we need to use the new keyword here. Now we can use that start position and just to make sure the y value of the ball, actually let's use -30. If the ball is at -30, we can respawn it. So the ball bounces off the bumper, but it doesn't look as cool as a real pinball machine yet, because we also want a light to flash as soon as you hit the bumper. Therefore I'm gonna add a point light over here, and I'm gonna make it really intense, increase the range a bit, and lift it up. Yeah, this is really bright. And now we want to have this light flicker as soon as you hit the bumper. So therefore I'm going to go to the bumper script. I'm going to add a reference to the light, Let's set it. So this is our light. And we want to have it shine a certain time. So I'm going to create a variable in here. Call it time left light shine. And then in my collision method, I'm gonna first enable the light. And I'm also gonna set that time left light shine. I'm gonna set it to 0.2 seconds. Now in the update function we can check if time left light shine is bigger than 0. Then we're gonna decrease it by time delta time. And once it's smaller than 0, we're gonna disable the light. So now it stays on for a while and then it goes off again. We could also play with the intensity to make it go out gradually, but let's not do that now. So you can see that it works. We see the light go on when you hit the bumper. In order to create even a better effect, we can use post processing. We already have a global volume over here. If you haven't got one, you can create one like so. And I'm gonna just adjust this a little bit to my liking. First of all, I don't like tone mapping so much. I want to have bright colors, so I'm gonna remove this. And for the vignette, let's see if it's really strong. You get something like this. That's not nice. We can keep it a bit like this. And also I'm gonna add post-processing color adjustments. So I'm gonna increase the contrast a little bit, and also the saturation to make the colors more bright. And for the bloom effect, I set it to, I think, 4. That makes, for example, the flippers very shiny. But yeah, personally I like that. So, but if you don't like it that much, you can use less bloom and also less glossiness on the material. So just use less metallic and smoothness. And once we're satisfied with the bumper, we can copy it. We could also create a prefab out of it, so we can just create multiple instances and also change them all at once. So let's just create different lights. So one can be like yellow, one can be blue, this one can be red, and that one can be green. Or maybe this one should be red. And this one green instead. Blue is not that visible, so we're going to increase that a little bit. Okay, I think that's fine. Now we're going to switch them off again. Okay, so we got these bumpers working now. Let's add some more features to our pinball machine. Let's put these inside the pinball. And let's also create a cylinder. Gonna rotate it. Put it maybe over here. Something like this. And let's put a texture on it. I'm gonna open paint.net and create a new picture. For textures we use something with a factor of 2, so 2 to the power 8 in this case. I don't know, a bit more, 2 to the power 10 I think that is, but anyway, the same size for the height as the length. And well, let's just erase the background and create some text here 3 times. Let's use this. Maybe something like this. Okay, this looks nice. Let's save it as a PNG. I'm calling it 3 times. Okay, it's over here, so we can change it to sprite. And now create a material. and put the material on the cylinder. So actually let's create a second cylinder and use this material for that one, and let's make this one a little bit bigger. Create something like this. Okay, that looks nice. Let's make it one object, so put this cylinder inside this one and call this triple. I'm going to put it inside the pinball structure. So now if you hit this this object, the number of balls should triple. So instead of one ball you should get 3 balls. That's the idea. So let's create that. So let's start by creating a script again. I'm gonna call it triple. I'm going to attach that to the triple game object. We are going to create the onCollision function again. And now we need more than one ball. We need to spawn 2 extra balls over here. So what we want to have at least is positions to spawn them. Call it spawn position 1 and 2. So let's create a few game objects for the spawn positions. And now we have to set the location. So I'm going to use a ball to put it in the right spot. This could be a good position to spawn one of the extra balls. So let's copy this position and let's paste it to this one. And for the second one, maybe somewhere over here. Okay, so now I can remove the ball again and put the spawn positions inside the triple object. Because we want to instantiate more than one ball, we're going to make it into a prefab now. So let's drag the ball in here. and call it prefab ball. Now we no longer need this ball over here. We're gonna instantiate it, and therefore I'm gonna create a new script over here, calling it game. This is a script that I use a lot, and I put in there the things that are not specific to one object, but for the whole game. I tried to put as least code as possible in there, but some things we just need there to get the game started. So let's create that game script over here. And attach it to that game object in the scene. So now we always have one of these in the scene when we run it. I will create a public static instance of this class. Let's call it instance, and I will use not the start function but the awake function. That's called even sooner. And in that awake function I will set that instance. So now we can refer to this instance, because it's public, from anywhere, and we don't need to create a reference in those other scripts. Then we should have a function here called spawn ball that we will use to create the ball. We will use instantiate for that. And then we need the prefab, so we need a reference to the prefab. Serialize field. So let's set that instance. So over here we have our game script, and we can set the prefab. We can refer to anything in the scene, but also anything in our assets. So now this class knows what to instantiate, and we can refer to that. Then we need some position. We already have that ball start position. We put it in that ball script. So actually it should not be here, but now it should be moved to the game script. And over here we no longer use this, but instead we will call that game script. So we can refer to it like this now, and we have that public method spawn ball that we can call. So this effectively does the same as it did before, but now it's can be reused in other scripts as well. And over here we also need a position and a rotation. Well, the rotation doesn't really matter for the ball and what position it is, so we can set it to just identity. That's like the default. So now we can spawn this ball, for example, in the start function. When we first start the game, this start method will also be called, and one ball will be spawned in the game. And now if we go back to our triple script, in the on-collision enter, we can also instantiate those balls. But now we use the spawn positions of the triple and we can create a reference over here to the ball prefab, but we can also use the reference that we have over here already. Then we need to make this available. So now we can use this from the game class. Oh, we only need the position from the transform, so not the rotation, so we need to specify only that part. Now we have a problem in the camera script, because we also used a reference to the ball object, but now this reference is no longer available from the beginning, so we should set it dynamically. What we're gonna do is make sure we only set the camera position if we have a ball available, and if we don't have it available, we need to find one. Therefore we're gonna use tags. So let's go to our prefab, and we can add a tag over here. Let's call it ball. So now this ball prefab is the only object that's tagged with ball. So now we can try to find game objects with that tag. By the way, this is not a very fast function, so you may want to use it only in rare occasions, and for now it will do, but if you want to optimize your game, this is one of the things you could look at to change. There are different ways to do it, but this is just an easy way to find all the balls in the game. So we receive an array of ball objects, and then if we found at least one ball, so if the length of the array is larger than 0, then we set the ball to the first ball. So that's a random one of the balls that's available in the game. But so if we have 3 games in 3 balls in our game, and one of the balls disappears over here, then the camera automatically, if that's the ball that the camera was looking at, it will automatically find another ball and pick one of the balls at random and will start to follow that ball. In our triple script, we will also check, we will use that ball tag to find all the balls, and we will make sure that we don't get any more than 3 balls in the game at once. So if you hit it the second time, it won't create another 2 extra balls. And finally, once we've spawned these extra balls, we want to push them away a little bit, just like with the bumper. So let's go to the bumper script and use this. Only this time we will make it a little bit less, because it's not a bumper. Okay, I've set the spawn positions and moved it over here so we can easily check if it's working. Yeah, you can see that we now get 2 extra balls. And oh, actually there is a small problem over here. Wow. Let's stop this. You saw that there was a lot of balls created. Let's take a look at the script. Yeah, so the when the ball is low enough, it will spawn a new ball, but we also need to destroy the ball that's falling down, so that way it won't spawn any other balls anymore. And actually we only need to do that to spawn a new ball when it is the last ball, because when we have 3 balls, the first 2 can just disappear, but after the last ball we should have a new ball to shoot away. So we are going back to the code for the to find the balls based on the tag, and over here we're gonna do something like this. As soon as the ball drops on the floor, we check how many balls we have left, and if there is only 1 ball left, we need to spawn a new one and destroy this one. So that's it for today. In the next part we will complete the game. Thanks a million for watching, and see you in the next video.